Both me and my husband had made this decision that we would never send our kids to school because for us, we felt that actually growing up with your kids is a very important learning process, and that we need to create spaces where more learning can happen within the family and outside schools. Today, kids spend a lot of time in schools, but not that much real learning is happening. So, how do we create spaces for authentic learning where children can learn from the creators of knowledge? Because today's schools are actually just commodifying knowledge and packaging it and giving it to kids. So actually we decided to do this because me and Manish had a lot of questions about our own schooling, and we felt that actually if you ask many kids, they don't like to go to school. So how could we create alternatives for people who feel trapped in school and don't want to go to school? So for us, our daughter has been our guru in the past 18 years, and she has really grown up to be a very creative human being and a very sensitive human being, and we think that that's where we as parents really feel very happy because she likes to interact with people of all ages. She spends a lot of time in nature. She loves animals, and she's a very caring person who would like to share her gifts with other people also. Our unschooling journey has been very beautiful. The reason why we created Shikshantar was also because we wanted to support unschoolers, homeschoolers, and self-designed learners. And the great thing about this unschooling journey has been that many people have been involved in this journey. It's not just parents, but we've had our grandparents who've also been very instrumental in the way we've taught and learned from each other. We've had many close friends who've been in this journey with us, and I think that's the true spirit of intergenerational and community learning, that you can involve as many gurus in this learning process. Shikshantar was started with this dream that people should be able to choose their own gurus. Today we have very little choice in who we would like to learn from. We're actually never even asked what we would like to learn. So the core principle of Shikshantar and our the way we try to live is that we should be able to choose who we would like to learn from and what we would like to learn. And so our daughter has from a very early age been spending a lot of time with healers, at animal shelters, volunteering at animal shelters. She's been volunteering at a cafe. She's been doing a lot of baking. She's loves music and art, and she's generally very fond of learning different languages also. So we encourage that kind of free learning. And the beauty of unschooling is that a child is free to explore learning through traveling, by spending time with different people, and she's been doing a lot of that as well. So for us, it's been a beautiful journey, and we feel that we have only grown stronger in our own in the way we need to unlearn to grow up, because I feel that even though we've been to school for many years, we still have a lot of shit in our head that we need to work around, and our daughter has really helped us unlearn a lot of that and decondition ourselves and live more naturally.
So, if people are kind of stumbling across this idea that should we send our kids to school, are they really getting any value, and they find videos like this on the internet, and what would, if they're watching this, what would your not suggestion, but what would you say to them if they're on the fence, if they're like on the border, should we do this? Is it worth it? Will we ruin our child's future if we pull them out of school and get this? What would you say to them?
So I mean, one of the biggest thing that I've learned in this unschooling journey is that every human being and every family does unschooling very differently, because every family is unique in its own way, and that many different ways of unschooling need to be nurtured and created. The underlying principle of our unlearning journey is that we believe that every human being is beautiful, gifted, and intelligent, and the purpose of unschooling is to actually try to bring that beauty out, and to nurture the many different kinds of intelligences that exist. I think one piece of advice that I would try to give parents who are actually going on this unschooling journey is that they have to actually have to get over their own fear and need to actually start thinking of how they can redefine what success is, what a good life is, what being a full human being is. Because if you're going to be keeping the same parameters that a school going child is having, then it's not never going to work. So we need to actually also rethink our lifestyle when we are thinking about unschooling. It's not just about the kids, it's about how we want to live our lives as parents as well as a community as well. And one thing that I always say, that the beauty of unschooling can unfold only if we stop comparing and competing with each other. Because a lot of times parents are unschooling their kids, but their parameter or their way of actually evaluating their child's learning or their own learning is on the basis of children who are going to school. But unfortunately that should never happen, because what you are creating for your child is a very unique experience, and what comes out of that will also be very unique. So the whole idea of unschooling is to actually try to keep your child's diverse learning experiences growing, and not comparing them constantly or trying to label your child in that process, because every child learns differently and we need to appreciate that.
You were saying something very interesting earlier. I'm not too sure whether you completely put that point, that this journey is actually more for parents than kids. What was that you were saying?
Because unfortunately today, if you ask children if they want to go to school, kids don't want to go to school. The biggest reason why kids are going to school is because they're trying to fulfill their parents' aspirations and their parents' dreams. So I think unschooling is also trying to let go of a lot of those things that we have in our mind. I mean, if parents don't want to become doctors, they should not force their kids to become doctors or healer, whatever. And the other thing is that they also have to think that the times when they were growing up were very different from the times that their kids are growing up. So they need to also let go of their kids and try to understand the context that the kids are growing up in, and also expose them to many different realities. Even though we grew up in many limited realities, but today the reality is very different, and the kids need to be exposed to many different things. So when I meet parents who actually say that, we want to unschool our kids or homeschool our kids, I say, the first thing you need to do is actually let your kids be. They don't need so much of your time, and they don't need your structure in their life. And that's not easy, because we are used to that structure, but slowly, steadily, being very patient and letting every day unfold as in a journey, not because if you already have a destination in mind, you're never going to be able to get there. So the process of unschooling is much more important than what the end result is actually.
Right. Great. Anything else you'd like to add? Because I do want to add later, say, links to resources for people who want, right? Is there anything specific you'd like to start, at least
so
with
I also feel that a lot of parents who are unschooling or homeschooling have a lot of fear about what their kids will do when they grow up, because they've always the biggest reason why parents send their kids to school is because they feel that they get a degree and a job after that. But I want to say that today this whole thing of degrees is also a big farce, and we need to demystify this degrees and diplomas and certificates. So for the past maybe 15-16 years, we've been working a lot with people who are constantly saying that there are many alternatives to degrees and diplomas, and that people can actually learn more holistically if they actually stop running after these things. And so we've also created alternative spaces, like alternative universities like Swaraj University, where we don't ask for a degree and we don't give a degree to people, but we really work on the human beings' real questions and their skills. So one thing that I feel is very important is that we need to have many different ways of learning, and we need to create many different kinds of communities where people can constantly demystify the kind of myths we're living with, that degrees will get you a job. I mean, that's bullshit. Nothing is happening there like that. And also that you can't live without a degree. Today most of the very creative people are actually living without degrees. So we need to tell parents more and more that they need to think of what they want to make their kids as human beings and not just as skilled labor.
Right.
Shikshantar is a larger movement, and we work with people of all ages. And we realized, during the course of Shikshantar, maybe about 15 years ago, that a lot of young people want to do creative things, want to do different things in their life, but they don't get a chance to do that because their parents don't allow them. They feel that their kids need to be in some structured program. So about 10 years ago, we created Swaraj University, which is a self-designed university, one-in-a-kind university in the world, where it's a 2-year program, and the people who join Swaraj University are called coaches, and they're actually on their own search, on their own learning journey, and they actually focus more on creating very alternative livelihoods, not the mainstream livelihoods like being a doctor. And it's a self-designed university because every Koji who joins creates their own curriculum for the 2 years that they're there. And the learning model is that they go and learn through mentorships. So if a person is interested in farming, they would go and learn farming from a farmer by living with the farmer. Or if they're interested in filmmaking, they will spend time with a filmmaker. And 2 years is a very good amount of time where they go and spend time with many different people to understand what they're really interested in, work on themselves, and also work on creating their own either business or their own livelihood through that. And 2 years they also go and intern in many different organizations and get the kind of experience that they need to. They travel independently also and see many different aspects of life. So 2 years of Swaraj University we've had 10 batches of Swaraj so far, and people are doing many different kinds of things. After coming out of Swaraj, they've created their own spaces. They're also being employed by organizations and different movements to do the kind of things that are useful for society. So there are 3 things that we always focus on in Swaraj, is that whatever you do should be good for yourself and for the planet. We don't want to create people who are just running after a job, but whatever you do should be meaningful for your community, for the planet, for the environment as well. And that you should do something that you're really passionate about, rather than just running after something that someone else is doing. And also constantly redefining what success is, what a good life is, stuff like that. It's a 2-year program.
Any stories to talk about some of the ex-students of Swaraj, what they're doing?
There's lots of, and the other good thing about Swaraj University is that a lot of the Kojis who pass out also end up being mentors for the other Kojis.
I see.
And so a lot of they are also facilitators in Swaraj University. So in Swaraj University we don't have professors or lecturers, but the people in the community are the real gurus for us. And so a lot of them have opened up their spaces also for inviting people to come and work and spend time. A lot of Kojis are also have started their own learning spaces, cafes, which are more focused on a holistic lifestyle and not just on selling or business oriented.
Any cafes that you can?
Yeah. So
which ones?
So there's a friend called Snehal who started a cafe in Anand, which is focusing more on healthy food.
I see.
A lot of another Koji is working on how we can redefine marriages. And so she's also hosting a lot of sessions here on compassionate connections and how we can, talk about marriages as a much more spiritual process, and how young people should be able to design their own marriages. So she has started her own group. She also does a lot of dance movement therapy and creative activities with kids. So she has her own group. There's people who are working a lot in wildlife and have started working as, alternative guides on wildlife and stuff like that. What else? People have started their own organic farms in the years that have been organic stores as well.
Nice.
So a lot of Kojis are doing very interesting kinds of alternative stuff.
Fabulous. Great.